Hello, everyone, and welcome to Respire Creepypasta. I am your current narrator for the day, Evan Kascinde. This story is called Curiosity Logged My IP. I wish it had killed me. Let's begin. I never wanted to go anywhere near the dark web. I know that sounds dramatic, but I mean it literally. I was the kind of person who avoided true crime, documentaries, any of it, because it made it harder to sleep. I put tape over my laptop webcam. I still covered my phone camera with my thumb when I wasn't using it. I wasn't paranoid. I was cautious. There's a difference. My friends, on the other hand, thought fear was funny. It started on a Friday night. The kind where no one really had any plans, but everyone pretended they did. We were crammed into Mark's basement, 5 of us total, surrounded by empty soda cans, stale chips, the low hum of his gaming PC. It was raining outside, the kind of steady rain that makes the windows look like they're melting. Someone, I think it was Ethan, brought up the dark web as a joke. Bro, he said, spinning in Mark's desk chair. You know there are literal hitman sites down there, right? Like, you can just order a hit on someone. Mark snorted. That's bullshit. It's not, Ethan insisted such. I saw a video. You could buy organs, guns, people. Who's that fake? I said this without looking up from my phone. Scam sites, edgy roleplay, the whole 9 yards. That was my mistake. Ethan grinned at me. Oh, so you know about it. I know of it. I had corrected him. Fiercely, but defensively. That's different. Mark leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. You scared? No. I replied this fervently, but with a somewhat furtive demeanor. Another mistake. He turned his monitor toward us. I've got Tor installed. I laughed. I actually laughed. Because I thought he was joking. Mark liked to exaggerate. But when he clicked open a browser I didn't recognize, a dark purple icon, the onion symbol, my stomach tightened. Dude, I said, finally paying full attention. Why do you even have that? Mark shrugged. College class, cybersecurity elective. Sure, Ethan muttered. Let's look something up, Mark said, fingers hovering over the keyboard, just to see. I shook my head. I didn't want to, for matter. Come on, just butted into the conversation, quiet until now. You're always talking about how everything's fake. Prove it. I didn't realize it then, but this sentence would loop in my head for months. Fine, I said. But if we see something illegal, I'm out. Everyone agreed a little too quickly. Mark typed slow, theatrically. The Tor browser loaded pages at a crawl, each click taking long enough to make my skin itch. It wasn't like normal browsing, it felt heavy. Like every page resisted being opened. Forums first. Message boards filled with nonsense usernames and walls of text. Most of it looked stupid. People arguing about cryptocurrencies, conspiracy theories, fake IDs for sale. I relaxed a little. See, I said this again, fervently, but furtively. Nothing. This with more of a confident remark. Then Ethan leaned over Mark's shoulder. Search for something real. Mark hesitated. He quickly responded, like what? Ethan looked at me. You decide. I should have said no. Instead of trying to be cool, I said the first thing that came to mind. I don't know. Something creepy. Mark started typing on the computer. Ended up searching kill streams. The page took longer than usual to load. When it finally did, the room went quiet. It wasn't flashy, no blood, no jump scares, just a plain black page with white text and a list of links. Titles that didn't explain themselves but didn't need to. Holy shit. Jess whispered, completely bemused. One link caught my eye immediately. I don't know why. It was simple. Too simple. Watching room. That's fake, I said automatically. Click it, Ethan replied. No. Click it. No. Before I could stop him, Mark did. The site loaded faster than the others. That should have been my second warning. The page showed a single embedded video window. No thumbnail, no description. Just a gray, live indicator in the corner. This is fake, I said again louder. The video buffer wheel spun, then started. At first, I thought it was a basement. Concrete walls, a single hanging bulb swinging slightly. The camera angle was high, like it was mounted in a corner. A man sat at the center of the room. On a chair. A metal chair. He was breathing hard. Is this staged? Jess asked. The man looked up at the camera and spoke. I know you're watching, he said. Not screaming, not crying. Calm. Too calm. I don't know how many of you there are, he counted. But you found this room, that means it started. I felt cold all over. This is a recording, Mark said, but his voice wasn't confident. The man swallowed. They said if I talk, they'll end it faster. Ethan laughed nervously. His some alternate reality game bullshit. The man's eyes shifted, like he was tracking something off camera. Please, he said suddenly, panic cracking his voice. If anyone recognizes me... Suddenly, another man entered the room. The guy in the chair screamed at the top of his lungs, and then the video cut. The page refreshed. A new video loaded. A different room. Same camera angle, same lighting, different person. This one was a woman. Younger. Her face was bruised, one eye swollen shut. Jess covered her mouth. Turn it off, she said. No. Ethan whispered something I wasn't expecting. Wait. The woman didn't speak. She just stared at the camera. Tears sliding silently down her face. A timer appeared at the bottom of the screen. 02:59. Began counting down. Okay, that's enough, I said, standing up. This is sick. The timer hit 02:30. The woman shook her head frantically. Mark, Jess said, please. Mark's hands hovered over the mouse. I can't. It's frozen. The timer hit 0200. The woman screamed. Suddenly, the same man came out of the door behind her with a drill. I want the best for all of you. I hope you'll enjoy the show, he said with a distorted voice. He put the drill to her swollen eye and began drilling into it. The blood, oh God, the blood pooling out made my stomach turn. The screams, the grunts the woman was uttering scared deep me inside. Stopped for after a while. And then he changed the position of the drill to her throat, began drilling deep. Blood sprayed out of the hole. The man was drilling through each time the woman tried to speak, scream, or cry. After a while of the drilling, the woman started choking on her own blood. And eventually, everything went quiet. The screen went black at 30 seconds. The page refreshed again, flashing in red text over and over. You boys don't belong here. You boys don't belong here. You boys don't belong here. Underneath, in smaller text, almost faded. Get the fuck out of the adult's website. We didn't speak for a full minute. Then Ethan laughed too loudly. Okay, that's fake as hell. I grabbed my jacket, hands in the pockets. I'm leaving. No one tried to stop me. I barely slept that night. My phone buzzed with notification after notification next morning. A private message from an account I didn't recognize. I opened it, saw a link to another live stream. Within, Ethan, Jess, and Mark, they were tied up. Jess's throat was slit, wide open, stuffed with yellow candy. Ethan wasn't awake, smiling, but not breathing. But Mark, alive, bruised, sat crying beside Jess. Suddenly, I heard faint footsteps from the hallway. As the idiot I was, I grabbed the baseball bat I had in my room and slowly made the way out of my room. The hallway was dark and quiet. Suddenly a towel was pressed against my face and I passed out in merely seconds. I woke up later, stuck to a chair. Across from me were my friends. I cried out loud when suddenly the same man from the earlier live streams walked up to me. He held the same drill. You've been a dirty little boy, haven't you? He asked. Some sick fuck in this ad. The way he asked his unperturbed demeanor. He then threw my head back against the chair. And bad boys need to learn. He pressed the drill toward my chest. This is gonna hurt like hell. He turned it on. I could feel the intense pain followed by the warm red blood dripping down my chest. I screamed at the top of my lungs. He continued. I felt one of my ribs break. Screamed. And then another. I screamed louder. The man seemed to enjoy every moment of this until he stopped. Ah, fuck. He grunted as he ripped out the drill from me. I was confused. He placed the drill on the floor next to me. He grabbed my hair and made me look at him. I'll be right back, peasant. Forgot to entertain the viewers. He threw my head back and walked away into the dark. I sat down and cried out loud for as long as I looked over at my dead friends. Jess was left like I last saw her on the live sent to me. Ethan, or what was left of him, sprawled out on the floor. Almost looked like someone tried washing away his remains with the floods of the Mekong. Mark was the worst part, though. He was barely still alive. He was nailed up on the wall. Both of his eyes were drilled out. His rib cage, wide open, spread eagle. His lungs, organs, and hearts were visible. His legs had been scraped off with a knife from the kneecaps. His face was burnt and stitched together. It was impressive how he was even still alive. I knew that if I wanted to make it out of this alive, I had to act fast. I was losing blood. I may have already been in shock. Fast enough that my vision kept dimming at the edges, like someone was slowly turning down the lights. Every heartbeat felt heavier than the last. Warmth soaked my clothes, and I didn't need to look down to know how bad it was. Tears streamed down my face even faster than blood, not just from the pain, but from the thought of Liz, my girlfriend, still completely unaware of what was happening to me. Unaware that I might already be dead by the time anyone came looking, that we might all be gone, that my friends and I would just disappear. No answers, no closure. That my family would never get the relief of knowing what happened to me. Only unanswered phone calls and a missing person report collecting dust. I couldn't let that happen. Something inside me snapped. The fear turned into something else raw. Burning. Fury. Hatred. Anger. My chest felt tight. My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. That's when I noticed it. The drill. He must have dropped it in his rush, the fucking idiot. It lay on the floor, inches out of reach, smeared with something dark and sticky. My stomach twisted. My hands and legs were strapped tightly to the chair, the ropes biting into my skin, but adrenaline drowned out the pain. I threw my weight forward as hard as I could. The chair tipped, crashed onto its side, and I hit the floor, hard. For a second, the pain nearly knocked the air out of me, but luck, pure, stupid, goddamn fucking stupid luck, had me falling just close enough. Fingers brushed plastic. I grabbed the drill and pulled it towards me like my life depended on it. I guess in a way, it kinda did. I pressed the spinning bit against the ropes around my wrists, praying the sound wouldn't carry. The drill whined softly as the fibers began to fray. My arms screamed in pain, my hands shaking. But I didn't stop. One rope snapped, then another. When I finally tore myself free, I didn't hesitate. I bolted through the opposite door. The one the masked man had disappeared through earlier. I ran. My bare knees slamming against the ground, my lungs burning every breath, scraping my raw throat. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't stop. Somehow, some way, I found a window. I didn't think, I didn't slow down. I crashed straight through it. Glass exploded around me, and then I was falling. 2 stories. I hit the ground wrong. I heard it before. I felt it. A sickening crack. Pain erupted in my leg, sharp and blinding. My ankle was shattered. I knew it instantly, but it didn't matter. I screamed and dragged myself upright, limping, stumbling, half running through the agony. Fear drowned out everything else. The house we had been kidnapped to sat deep in the forest. As insane as it sounds, I recognized it. Years ago, I had camped nearby with my family. Remember the trails, the slope of the land, directions that led back to civilization. I followed that memory like a lifeline. When I finally reached the road, when I saw houses in the distance, lights growing faintly, I collapsed. I still remember hitting the ground. Days later, I woke up in a hospital bed. Alive. Safe. Barely so. Pain screamed through my body, my foot, my ribs, my head. Tubes and wires surrounded me. The room smelled like antiseptic and stale air. And sitting right beside me was Liz. The moment my eyes opened, she screamed my name. Baby! She burst into tears, sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. She hugged me before I could stop her and groaned in pain as my ribs protested. Where the fuck have you been? She cried. What the hell happened to you? I tried to speak, but my throat closed. Tears spilled down my face. Mark. Jess. Ethan. I whispered. They're all dead. She pulled back, staring at me like I'd lost my mind. What the hell are you saying? She asked, her voice shaking. After that, everything went blurry. I only know that months later, I was finally released from the hospital. I told the police everything, every detail I could remember. My story went viral. You're probably expecting an anticlimax, something like, no bodies were found, the killer vanished, the case went cold. But no. The police searched the abandoned warehouse where I'd been kept. Mark's body was still there. So was Ethan's and Jess's. They found a camera, tools, a mask, tarps, the whole 9 yards. After so long, 2 years to be exact, 5 men were arrested. Drug dealers and a hitman. They admitted everything. They confessed to killing my friends, trying to kill me too, to thousands of others. Sometimes people ask me how I survived. I don't have an answer. I just know that I was supposed to die in that room. And I just know that it couldn't have been that easy. They let me escape. They wanted me to escape. Something tells me I don't think they're done with me. But if we're being honest, I ain't done with them either. Alright, that was torture on my throat. I've been Evan Kascinde with Creepypasta. I want to thank Rasmus, André, and Alexander for letting me on. Jesus, my throat is killing me. I should have been drinking some water. I did this all in like one take, sort of. I did it like 6 different times, but like all the way through for authenticity. Jesus Christ, my throat hurts. Anyways, don't forget to like, subscribe, and notify. Do all that you do on YouTube. Also, I do not know who wrote this story, but whoever did a damn good job. So, that being said, remember, always,
if you hear that noise in the back of your head, in the back of the room, don't look at it.
Boundary boredom, the boundary and boredom. I contend that your drinking eye is never open. I insist somebody will die, and I hate coping. Wishing that the pills let you cry, and I hate coping. Someday I will go back outside and see her okay. I contend that your drinking eye is never open. I insist somebody will die, and I hate coping. Wishing that the pills let you cry, and I hate coping. Someday I will go back outside and see her okay.